guys, it is Friday. I didn't vlog last week. Because I was braiding my hair. It took me like 4 days to braid my hair because I started my period, and then that morning I was like, oh, like actually my period isn't that bad, like I'll be fine. I did one row of braids and then I suddenly like felt really sick, so that day took me like really long. And then I was just starting like I was just being super lazy, but it was fine because like I didn't have to rush onto the books. So I finished the Heir of Navrin, which I'm so happy about. This was 900 pages, you guys. This is the biggest book I've read all month. Like, I am so proud of myself. The ending, this was such a bittersweet ending. Like, so much happened in these two books, but the last book specifically is like my favorite book because if you don't know, these books are bind-ups of 2 in 1. And today I was actually supposed to film how I feel about this series and then also how I feel about the Discworld books that I'm reading. I'm just gonna do it tomorrow instead because I slept all day. I mean, because of daylight savings, like I still have time, but I wanted to film 3 videos and my camera overheats really easily, so like I know that if I were to do that, like it would just take all day. But speaking of daylight savings, it's 5 o'clock and the sun is still up. This is like my depression. I feel like I can beat my depression now. Like I feel like I can really work on getting like out of my depressive state. But anyways, Heir of Navrin, book 5. This is book 5 and book 6. Book 5 was really good. Book 6 was amazing. Like book 6 felt like Endgame to me, like Adventures Endgame, or it felt like the last season of Game of Thrones, where like all these characters that you have been building up to, all these characters you met throughout the series, like comes in to like fight the greater good or like fight this final thing. Like that's kind of how it felt like in this book, and I loved it. I love Hadrian and Royce. I love like the ending that they had. It was so sad to see them go. The ending was so sad, but it was so beautiful. Like this book definitely took some risks that I never expected, which I think were needed. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was everything I could have asked for. It made me excited to read the Crown Tower, because the characters reference. I'm like, is this the same fucking picture? But they definitely reference this in this book, and so it exposed some things about them that I never knew. Like Royce originally hated Hadrian, and Hadrian didn't even know that, and Royce like could not wait for Hadrian to fail, and like Hadrian did not know this. So like I'm really excited. Also, these books are shorter. I'm super proud of myself. Not only did I read an entire series, but it was 6+ books. Like this is my first series I've completed all year, well besides Mickey 7, but like that was a duology. Like this is the first series I have officially completed all year. Like I'm super fucking excited and I'm so proud of myself. Like y'all don't understand, I have a terrible habit of like starting a series and be like, okay, that first book is good, I can definitely see myself loving the rest of these, I'm gonna move on to something else now, and then reading a series that like I don't necessarily love, and I'll continue on because I want it to get better, I want to see if it gets better, and then like I don't end up liking any of them, and I just wasted my time reading this series I didn't give a fuck about just because. And also this is helping me because I have a terrible habit of reading the first book and then moving on to something else. So this is helping me like sit down and really read a trilogy, and this is also helping me in my TBR as like a mood reader, and like not picking up books simply because somebody else talks about it. Because my biggest issue is that like I'll be watching like a reading vlog and someone will be like, yeah, I just picked up this book, so and so, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that book sounds good, I'm gonna go pick it up, and then I'll pick it up and then I didn't love it. So it's like this is also helping me really get out of that habit of like these are heavy. It's really helping me get out of the habit of like picking up something because someone else read it and they said it was good, and just putting it on my back burner. It's in my want to read for a reason. I'm currently reading Moving Pictures by Terry Pratchett. That's like the 10th Discworld book, but I've already read 10 Discworld books, so if I don't finish the book tonight, then like that's fine. I can still do my video talking about the first 10 Discworld books. I can still do that video, and after that I want to work on reading these 3 series. So I have The Blade Itself, which is a reread. I haven't read a page in either of these, by the way. And then I have Royal Assassin, which I really just sit down and read. And then Sharp Object is the one I've read the most out of. I'm on chapter 11 in this one because I was listening to the audiobook for a little bit, but I do not like listening to audiobooks while I braid my hair. I don't know what it is. It just feels like when I'm crocheting and I'm listening to audiobooks, it feels like I'm moving through the project super fast. But because I don't know why, but when I'm braiding my hair and listening to an audiobook, it feels like it's taking forever for both. Like I'm just super hyper aware of how much time is passing by when I'm braiding my hair and listening to an audiobook. So yeah, these are my braids. I mixed for the front half, so like these two front halves, I mixed 350, 27, and 30, and then in the middle I mixed 27 and 30, and then in the back it's just 30. It's like they all look like one color like when you look at them, but I think when you look up close you can tell that like I did 3 different colors, and I didn't do that on purpose. It's just that like I was running out of colors the more I went on, and I just really like the way that it looks. And I also really like I love the way that 27 and 30 look together. I think I might mix that together this summer. And I'm also thinking of wearing braids for like the rest of the summer because it's so much easier. I love how I look with braids. I love that I can just get up and film. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna end this because I don't want to yap too much, but okay, hello vlog. It is now Saturday. I did my lashes yesterday, and today I'm going to be recording some videos. So I'm doing my makeup. This is my first time doing makeup in months. I don't know why I did my lashes because literally being a lash girl just might not be for me. Like, I rub my eyes all the time. Just did my brows and my edges, and I got a new makeup bag finally. I've had my other makeup bag since I was in high school, since I was in, I think my grandma gave it to me when I was in 10th grade. I started doing like mascara when I was in 9th grade, and then when I was like in 10th grade I started doing foundation, which the kids in my class used to call me Barbie, and like I thought it was a compliment until I realized I was being made fun of because like my foundation was really orange because I didn't know my undertones. And it was actually my very first foundation I used was actually MAC. It was my mom's foundation, and me and my mom have different undertones, and I didn't realize that. And surprisingly, it didn't deter me from like doing my makeup though. Like, now I'm amazing at doing my makeup, so thank you to those people who were making fun of me, because I don't know, it's like so crazy because in high school, like, people don't realize that like when you are doing your makeup you have to like learn. It's not something that you're gonna know how to do. You have to learn it, and you're gonna look crazy. And like now those same people who are like making fun of me like are trying to learn how to do their makeup at like our big girl age. And like there's nothing wrong with wanting to learning to makeup whatever age you are. My mom is still trying to learn how to do makeup. My mom never dedicates the time to learn to do makeup because it's like something that you have to learn, right? It's not something that, it's just like a gift. It's not a talent. It's something that you literally have to practice and learn. And my mom has been like learning to do makeup, and so there's nothing wrong with like learning as you get older. But those same people who are like making fun of me are like trying to learn now. I just think it's so, I love makeup. I think it is the greatest gift given to us. It's super fun. It makes people confident, and I love it. But yeah, so I read Moving Pictures. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I think I'm kind of just tired. Discworld, like I love Discworld, but I think I just need a break from it. But like I don't want to take a break because I know myself, and I know that if I take a break it might be years until I come back. So I want to keep going, but I don't want to keep pushing myself. And like my next book is Reaper Man, which is a death book, which I am excited for. This is my final look about Moving Pictures. So I finished Moving Pictures. I give it 3 to 5 stars. It just wasn't like my favorite. I know a lot of people really like Moving Pictures. It's basically where like movies come to Discworld, and it's about like how corrupt Hollywood is and stuff. I just was like, this is fine. I don't know why I didn't like it as much as everyone else. It's just like, it was okay to me. And I started, hopefully I don't get makeup on this, but The Crown Tower last night. I read one chapter of this, really loving it so far. And that is the first book in the Rhaeria Chronicles, and that is where Hadrian and Royce became Rhaeria, because that's what they're known as. They are mercenaries, they are thieves for hire, they're those guys, honestly. And that book, this series is like how they met, like their introduction, their lore, like all this stuff. That's pretty much all I read last night. I didn't get a lot of reading done because I have a TikTok problem. And hopefully I'll read some of the other books that I have, because at this point it's starting to get sad. But oh, I reached my reading goal. I hit 50 books. Like, that's exciting. I hit 50 books when I finished moving pictures, so that's really exciting, and I love that, and I'm super happy and I'm super proud of myself. I usually always hit my reading goal in March, so I'm really on par with the rest of my year. But honestly, as long as I get through these series, I don't care if I read 11 books. My goal for the end of the year is to get through these series, y'all. Like, I am on it. So far I've only finished one series, which, like, 50 books, one series. But also all the books that I'm reading, all the series, are super fucking long. Listen, my room is a mess, my camera's dying. I just waited an hour and 30 minutes on the phone for a conversation that took not even 5 minutes. For something I had to do, an adult thing, and schedule something. Okay, I'm going to treat myself to matcha because I just got into matcha. I really shouldn't be spending this money, but I'm going to because I need it, I deserve it, and I'm stressed. I didn't read a single thing. I've been editing. Like, I edited all yesterday. I had to do my homework. Had so much homework to do because last week was spring break. So I had to catch up on so much homework. And then it's not even that, like, I have 4 classes, and in every single class there was like 2 assignments due, and I didn't start my homework until 8 o'clock. And then I didn't start my homework until 9 o'clock because I spent all of 8 o'clock scrolling through TikTok. So I had to do all of my homework within 2 hours. Somehow I got it all in. And then there was one assignment that I missed by 2 minutes, and I didn't know that it was due because I'm used to my homework being due at 11:59, and I didn't check the time like an idiot. So I had to do that. And then I had to edit my videos. I filmed 3 videos for the week, and then now I'm planning my videos for next week. And then the week after next week, I'm going to be on vacation, so I want to plan out my content for the next 2 weeks. Okay, I'm back, and I cleaned off my desk. Yeah, so as I was saying, I just ordered myself some matcha because I was having a really bad weekend. I was super proud of myself. I don't have any reading updates. This is girl talk now, okay? So I've decided that I'm going to be a little bit more open about, like, my dating life, but, like, there's really nothing to be open about. Basically, Friday night I got really bored. I was like, you know what, I've been really proud of myself. I haven't been on any of the apps since that terrible situation I had with that guy back in, like, the end of October. So I've been like 3-4 months, like, off the dating apps, which, like, I can go a long time off of dating apps because, like, men on there aren't serious. They're not serious people. Not just men. People on dating apps are not serious people. They just get on there for the validation. Ever since, like, 2020, nobody's getting on dating apps to, like, actually date. People are using dating apps to hook up or simply for validation. And, like, there's so many options out there in the world. You might find somebody better, right? I literally say all the time, I don't want my love story to be somebody that I met through Tinder. I don't want my kids to be like, how did you guys meet? And we're like, yeah, we just met on Tinder. I don't want that. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be a beautiful, oh my gosh, like, invisible string moment. Like, it doesn't have to be that. I would love for it to be that, but it doesn't have to be that, you know? I don't even know why. I was just like, I want to talk to someone. I want to go out on dates this year. I have, like, a pretty busy year planned out, like, vacation wise, so it's not like I want to, like, boyfriend. I just want to go out and hang out with someone this summer. So I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna get on Bumble because Tinder, nobody's serious on Tinder. So I get on Bumble, I match with this guy, we start talking, we hit it off. It was actually his birthday. He gave me his number, we started texting, everything was good. We had a date planned for next weekend, everything's good. The next morning, he texts me and he's like, oh, like, I'm gonna be busy all day, I'll talk to you later. He didn't text me at all. So I'm like, oh my gosh, he's ghosted me. And I'm crazy. Like, a big reason why I don't date is because I'm crazy. Like, because I've dated so many guys through dating apps. The thing with dating apps is a man will ghost you at the split of a hair, because there's so many options out there, because like they just don't take it seriously. And like, also, he was watching my Instagram stories. I'm calling myself crazy, but I don't think it's crazy. I'm actually not gonna call myself crazy. I don't think it's crazy, because the moment you start calling yourself crazy, like, men will call it crazy. It's literally not. There was one time I was like talking to this guy, and like, we were friends on Discord, and he was saying he was coming to pick me up, but I could see him playing a game on Discord, and I called him out on it, and he was like, oh my gosh, you're so crazy. That's not crazy. I think I'm anxious. Like, yes, I'm anxious for sure. I've dated so many like shitty guys. Men ghost you with the split of a hair. Like, and I haven't made it to a second date and God knows how long. I haven't been on a second date, and like, since I dated my ex-boyfriend, and I've been single, I've had a boyfriend in like 4 years. So I haven't had a second date in like 4 years. So I'm already anxious about that. And we had already discussed, like, we're not going to take things seriously until we go out on our first date and then decide where we're going to go from there, right? So he texted me, he apologized for not texting me all day. I was like, oh, thank you for communicating that with me. Today's Monday. I'm going to be over this by Tuesday. Like, I'm already almost over it, which is why I'm like talking about it, venting about it. So I'm talking about it because I'm really upset with myself. I had a really good streak going, but I was talking to Mika, and Mika was like, you just need to remind yourself of why you don't want to be on those apps. And I did need that reminder. You would think after what happened to me in October, because the way that I told you guys about it doesn't sound that bad, but it's because I don't want to share too much personal details, but it was bad. Like, it wasn't like traumatic, it wasn't like anything that like I need to go to the police for or anything like that. Like, I'm not saying it was that, but like, mentally it was really fucked up. And so I should have learned my lesson from then. And there was another lesson last April that I should have learned my lesson for, and it's like, I clearly am not learning my lesson that I do not need to be on these dating apps. And I think that after time will pass, and like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I see other people's stories and like, oh, we met on Bumble, and I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe that can happen for me. Like, I see other people being like, we met on dating apps. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe that can happen for me. I want like a friends to lovers type of situation. Like, I want to like meet someone, be friends with them, start to like them, don't know if they like me, we hang out all the time type of situation. Like, I want that. Like, that's what I want. Like, hanging out, everybody knows that we like each other except for each other. I want that type of situation. And like, I'm just not gonna, like, the type of romance that I want, I'm just not gonna get from dating apps, unless it's like we saw each other on dating apps and then we met in real life, like, type of situation. Like, maybe so, but like, I just need to learn my lesson. I'm a very open person. Like, I don't mind telling somebody I like them. I tell people I like them all the time, and if they don't reciprocate that, that's fine. I can just move on. So it's not even just that, it's just like, I'm just so tired of like meeting someone on dating apps and being like, oh my gosh, like, is he gonna ghost me, is he gonna ghost me, and like, me like literally all day long. And like, I have hobbies, I crochet, I read, I have friends. Like, it's not that I don't have hobbies, it's just like, I still freak out. Like, I literally yesterday was editing all day, did homework, and FaceTime Mika. Like, I had distractions or other things to focus on, but still somehow I will be like, well, is he ghosting me, is he ghosting me all day long? And he didn't text me until like 12, and then this morning he just left me on open. Like, he just didn't even text me back. So it's like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I'm moving on. I deleted Bumble off my phone. But it's just like, dating is so frustrating, and like, I don't go out, I don't know how to meet people. Like, am I, not to be dramatic, but like, am I gonna be single for the rest of my life? Like, yes, I'm only 26, and like, I have friends in real life and friends online. I'm on FaceTime 5 times a week. I have hobbies. I don't just read all day. I have millions of other hobbies. I go to school. I have homework. I have a YouTube channel that I take care of, that I tend to every day, content that I'm planning every day. Like, I talk to my family. Like, and it's like, I'm a secure person. Like, I worked on the things that people said you should work on before you get into a relationship. I love myself. I worked on my insecurities. Like, I know myself. I know how I am in relationships. I know what I want from a relationship. And it's like, I have all of that and all these things that people tell you that you need to have, and yet I still am single. And like, I'm fine with being single. Like, that's totally fine. I even told myself this year that I didn't even want a boyfriend this year because I want to focus on reading. And like, I know how I get when I'm talking to someone. It's like I read less and less, and I'm so like focused on like dates and what should I wear and like all this stuff. And then like I stop reading as much. And then once they ghost me, I like don't read either because I'm too sad. And it's like I don't want to go through that cycle. So I told myself I wasn't even gonna read, I wasn't even gonna do that this year because I want to focus on reading my series. Like I don't want any distractions from my reading goals this year. And yet upset because I put myself in this situation. I literally told myself I don't want to date this year, and then I put myself in that situation. Like, I'm just so upset with myself. And it's like, I literally did this to myself. Like, you know, on dating apps, they're not serious people. I'm sure people have met people from dating apps, but it's just not me. It's just not gonna be me. I met my ex-boyfriend on Tinder and we worked out pretty fine. I don't think that I can ever that can happen again. Like, I don't know. And like, am I gonna be single forever? Like, this year is just not my year for sure. Like, and it's like, I know I'm gonna sound dramatic because it's only March, but like, I genuinely did not, this year I kept referring to as my year of sexy. Like, I want to focus on being like getting hotter, focus on finding like the style that I like for this year, focus on the type of year that I want to have, and like just that summer, like aquamarine summer. Like, I want that, like, you know, type of, yeah, like an aquamarine summer. And it's like, I know what I want, and it just sucks that like I slipped right back into that little trap, and now I'm sad again. And it's like, now I'm focused on like, damn, like I do, and it's like, and it's like I get on TikTok and I see all of my content is girls with boyfriends because I love that kind of content and I love seeing people happy. And it's like, I know deep down, I know someday I'm gonna get that. Like, I know that I'm gonna have my dream man, and I'm not gonna settle. I know that for sure. Like, if I really wanted a boyfriend, trust and believe I could have one. There is plenty of guys in my DMs begging to take me out on a day-to-day basis. I just know that they're not, like, not that they're not my type, and also like I'm not attracted to them, and they're also just like, we just wouldn't work, and I know that. So it's like, trust and believe, if I wanted a boyfriend I could have one. So it's like, I know that, like, I know, like, I'm not like insecure or anything like that, and it's like, I know it's just only a matter of time and I need to wait. And I hate that I have to say this every time I talk about dating, because people always comment it and they're like, oh well, you shouldn't focus on that, or like blah blah blah. And it's always from people who have relationships, and like, I'm free to rant about whatever I want to rant about. Like, if I want to rant about being sad that I'm single, I can rant about being single. Like, you know. And this is just an update. Like, I'm totally fine with being single. I've been single. Like, girl, I've been single longer than I've ever been in a relationship. There are girls who have never been single a day before in their life. I am not one of those. My camera's overheating though. Back again. I am in a different outfit because I am also simultaneously bulk filming a bunch of TikTok. I got my matcha. Y'all, I think I'm obsessed. I think I'm a matcha girl. I'm obsessed. This is 4 pumps of brown sugar, 1 pump of vanilla with oat milk. It's great, but there's a little bit too much of something, and I think it might be too much brown sugar. It's still good though. And I got my matcha Kindle. 2 different colors here, but I got my matcha Kindle and my matcha, like, period. Okay, today is Tuesday. I still am sort of kind of like in my, okay, I have my jewelry on. I'm trying to get better at wearing jewelry this year because I used to be a jewelry girl when I was a kid, like necklaces and stuff and like earrings and stuff, and then I kind of grew out of it, and like I just want to be a jewelry girl. Like, it's just something about the jewelry that just really does it for me. I'm just trying to be a jewelry girl. Anyways, so if you hear like a lot of, that's what that is. I'm sure you know, right? Anyways, so I did read last night. I read 50 pages of Reaper Man, which is like the 11th book in the Discworld series, and then I went through Discworld last night and just tried to decide like how I want to read it for now. And so for right now, what I think I want to do is finish the Death series, because if you don't know, Discworld is basically like mini series within like an overarching series, right? So you can read them in publication order, you can read them through the series, or you can read them, I don't think there's a timeline order. So I've been like jumping around reading them like however. And so what I think I want to do is I want to read the Death series because that's what I'm liking so far. I think after I read the Death series, I'm gonna read a standalone, and then I'm gonna read the Witches series and then like a standalone, and then the Wizard series if there's a standalone, then like that, and then the City Watch if there's a standalone. If not, then I'll just move on to like the rest of the series. So that's kind of how I want to read it for now. The crazy part is I could be speeding through these books. Like, these books are so quick. They're not that long. They're starting to get up in like the 300 page, like 350 page mark, but they're not that big to me still. Like, they read super quick. Like, I felt like I wasn't reading that much before bed last night, and it's so crazy because I wanted to read so bad, but like I was just on TikTok scrolling all day yesterday. Like, yesterday was definitely a doom scrolly day, and I feel like I've been like sort of in a reading slump, and it's so crazy because everything that I'm reading right now I want to read. I just didn't want to pick up the book. I didn't want to stop scrolling through TikTok because I was like looking for TikTok ideas to like film and just stuff like that. And even when I was watching booktube, I still wasn't reading it. I just was like, okay girl, I'm in a reading slump. It's the 18th and I just feel so guilty for not finishing anything, and I want to finish these series before the end of the month. But like, it's fine if I don't. Like, I don't have to finish a book every week. Like, it's fine. But I just want to get out of this reading slump. Like, this, like, I want to read, but like at the same time, the moment I can scroll, I do. So yeah, I'm gonna go stop procrastinating and get to filming. So this update is simply because I wanted to show my outfit change. I think it's super cute. It's literally simple. Like, it's just this t-shirt. Oh, my necklace. It's just this t-shirt, like, period. And I still have my matcha from yesterday. I don't know how I feel about, like, I like matcha, but it has like this weird grassy aftertaste, which I know is the matcha. Like, I know that, but like it's good, and then it's like it's like good, and then it's and then it's like good again. So it's like a little slightly, and I know that's the matcha. But like, I kind of fuck with it though. Like, it's not like a weird aftertaste where I'm kind of like, ew. Like, it's like, I'm like, like, you know what? Like, does that make any sense? Is that how all matcha drinkers feel? Or am I tripping? I feel like you can just tell I'm obsessed with myself. Like, I feel like people look at me and they're like, she's so obsessed with herself. And they're not wrong. I have had so much energy today, and I literally came in my room, I filmed a TikTok, and I was like, I'm gonna film a YouTube video after this. I laid down for about 2 hours, and I'm like, there is something that I want to do. Like, there is something. It's like, is it reading? I'm like, no. And then I'm like, I get a comment on my YouTube video, and I love watching my own YouTube videos. So I was like, I'm gonna watch, I miss me, I'm gonna watch one of my YouTube videos. And then like in the middle of the video, I went, I meant to update my vlog. So yeah, I did read last night. I read 100 pages of The Crown Tower. I'm really in the mood to like physically read, and I'm really in the mood to like read in general. So I'm thinking of listening to the audiobook of Royal Assassin on my Books Palma. I'm currently watching a YouTube video on it while I scroll through my phone. I don't feel like watching anything on my iPad. I literally just have a bunch of electronics. Like, I didn't feel like watching it on my iPad because sometimes my iPad is huge and I just wanted the video for like background noise, but like I kind of don't want to watch the video anymore. I kind of want to listen to the audiobook. So I'm thinking of listening to the audiobook of Royal Assassin while I do whatever, and then once I'm ready for the night, I want to read. I'm really also in the mood to read The Blade itself. And then I also reread The Just and the Kings now that I'm in my fantasy era, because I have read the book before, but I didn't really care for it. And I think it's because when I read it, I was not in my fantasy era. So I think that I want to give that another chance. I think I kind of want to soft DNF this. I mean, I've already read it before. Maybe I'm just gonna read the last like 100 pages, just remind myself what happened, and then move on to the next book. I think I'm just gonna do that. Like, I've already read the book. There's no need to soft DNF like a reread, you know? I got me a new matcha. This one is 2 pumps of brown sugar, I think 2 pumps of vanilla, or 1 pump. I really like this. This is good. Why did I do this to myself? Why am I reading so many books at once, dude? And then it's like I'm in a reading slump. Like, reading so many books at once is fine, but once that reading, when you're in a reading slump and you're in the middle of like 5 books, it's so debilitating. Is that the word I'm looking for? It is literally 3 o'clock and time for me to lock the fuck in. Okay, so I went to bed pretty early for me last night. I went to bed at like 4 a.m. and I woke up around, I kept waking up, but I woke up for good around like 1. and I ended up going to bed early because I got sad. Fortunately, the girl got sad. I was just thinking about like the situation that happened and how I got ghosted, and I was just like in my feelings, and I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Like, I'm a really confident person. Like, I think of myself as very beautiful, and I get a lot of compliments. I get a lot of compliments in public, online, but I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Like, okay, I know I'm a beautiful person. I know I'm not ugly. Like, am I a terrible person? But then I'm like, Trisha Paytas is literally the worst person I can think of, and literally got her dream life. Like, she got her man and she's on her third kid. Like, so it can't be that. Like, think of the worst person you know. They probably have a man. Like, this could be a person in your life that's done some shit to you, or a celebrity or an influencer. Unless it's James Charles. Rightfully so, because that man's a predator. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, deep down, like, in reality, I know that, like, dating is really just a numbers game and, like, luck. And I don't think of myself as a really lucky girl, I'm gonna be honest. And I know it comes down to that, and I just haven't hit that, like, lottery yet. But when you're in your feelings, you're not thinking logically. You're not thinking like it's not about me. It's literally just that I haven't come across that person yet. And other people, they get lucky. They get to be in multiple relationships. They get to have a boyfriend and they break up and they get a new boyfriend. I was in my feelings last night, so I did read one chapter of Sunrise on the Reaping. But like I said, I got sad. Like, literally, it was so fucking crazy. Like, I wish I could have recorded it, but I was literally reading it. I'm giggling, I'm annotating because I'm reading on my Kobo. So I'm like annotating with my pen, I'm highlighting, I'm like giggling because Haymitch is such a, like, a boy obsessed trope, and he's so obsessed with Lenora Dove, his girlfriend, and I love that. And I'm like giggling, and then halfway through the chapter, I get on Instagram and I see that the guy that I was talking to that ghosted me, I see that he soft blocked me, which is fine. Like, I'm not mad about him soft blocking me, but I was like, usually when, like, I'm just so used to guys being up my ass, basically. Like, a guy will, like, literally ghost me and then come back. Like, a guy will ghost me and still follow me, or I'll, like, you know, or I'll end things with a guy and he'll still be DMing me. Like, I'm so used to guys being, like, up my ass. So, like, the moment that he soft blocked me, I'm like, okay, well, is there something wrong with me? The idea of him ghosting me was fine, I can get over that, but the fact that he unfollowed me is kind of like, damn, am I a fucking ogre? So I was just, like, really sad, and I was like, literally, you know that sound that's like with a girl, like the TikTok sound where the girl's like laughing and then she's like, wait, and then it's like she gets really serious immediately. That was me when I was reading. Like, I was like giggling and laughing, and I go on my phone and I was just like, wait, and suddenly no longer anything was funny. Like, I just finished the chapter and went to bed. Like, I was just like, I can't. So that was my night, being really sad. I tried to cry, but clearly I'm not that sad about it because I didn't even cry. And I tried to cry because I'm not a crier. I don't cry in my life. So the past few years, I've been practicing crying whenever I'm sad, because there's nothing wrong with crying. And I think that we all need to cry. It's just so relieving when you cry, right? And also, usually when I cry, things work out for me in the end, you know? So I tried to cry last night. I clearly don't give a fuck that much because I couldn't even. I put my sad music on, put my sad playlist on, couldn't even fucking cry. So, anyways, on to the reason why we're here, which is the book. So, like I said, I read a chapter of Sunrise on the Reaping, which was like 30 pages, I think. And then I read 100 pages of Shards of Earth this morning. The last 100 pages. So, I'm marking this as read, and I'm saying I read it because I read around like 300 pages altogether. So, to me, this is read. And I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars still. I just wanted to read, like, I've read this before. This is a reread. Shards of Earth is a space opera sci-fi. This series is about these aliens that are referred to as the architects, and they kind of like basically took over the world. And the point that we're in the books, they all went extinct. And so we follow our main character who has the ability to like communicate with these aliens. And I don't want to say too much because spoilers, but think space opera, found family, aliens. Like, I need to go eat. And I'm so obsessed with matcha, you guys. I've been like looking online and I want to start making my own matcha, but that shit altogether is expensive. I'm gonna go eat and then I'm gonna try to sit down and read. I doom scrolled today. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to live this life anymore. My goal is to come back, sit down, and read. You guys are gonna be so freaking proud of me. Guess who is halfway through Royal Assassin? I am so proud of myself. I am so thankful for everyone who believed in me, for all of my fans, for everyone who supported me in this journey. Because I never even thought that I could get halfway through. Like, I thought there's like two ways that I can go when I'm doom scrolling, and it can either be this route or the reading slump route. And I really don't like, my TBR for this month is not huge at all. Oh, Apple. My actual goal for this month is to just finish just finish Royal Assassins and Assassin's Quest, like finish the Seer trilogy. And then I want to be on the last book of the first Law trilogy. I'm on the first one. It's a reread. I want to have read the second book, and I want to be on the last book for my vacation. This series, the Rhyria Chronicles, I don't really have a goal, just to read as much as I can. Like, even though I'm having fun, I always reach for this one last because these read super fast. I feel like a big contributor as to why I got so far in Royal Assassin is because I started listening to the audiobook, which I love. Apple! I started working on this crochet project, which I am going to be making these shorts. I've been watching a lot of vacation vlogs, like travel vlogs, and in one I got recommended this girl wearing these shorts that look like these, and they were just regular shorts with like these colors but like darker, and I was like, oh, I have these colors but lighter, and I was like, I'm just gonna make these. So I think I'm just gonna make these just for fun, like just to have there. And then also I think I might make a matching top. I started listening to the audiobook while working on that last night, and I'm like casually crocheting. Like, this isn't something that like I need to finish this by tonight. Like, this isn't something that like I wake up and I do and then I do it all day until I fall asleep. Like, it's not that. It's just something casual. So every time I picked it up, I would just pick up the book, and then when I went to sleep, I just read the rest of the book. I'm really liking the audiobook narrator for Fitz. I feel like the narrator really captures like Fitz, like naive type of voice that he has, you know. And I'm really enjoying Royal Assassin. My only qualm is that it's not gay, because like I follow a bunch of people who are reading Realm of the Elderlings or have read it, and so a lot of my timeline is always talking about it. And people are always talking about Fitz and the Fool, and like people are always saying how like they definitely just give gay. And so in my mind, like, I know that they're not, but like in my mind they are. So when I'm reading the book, I'm like, oh yeah, they're gay as hell. And then like Fitz will be fawning over Molly. It's not really a real qualm though. But I am having so much fun. I'm loving it. I love Robin Hobb's writing, and I think I was like a little intimidated by it because it just feels like, I don't know, like I haven't read it in a while. I did reread Ship of Magic, but when I was rereading it, I definitely wasn't in like my fantasy era. Like, I was starting to get into it, but I think when you're trying to get in your fantasy era, you need to read like simpler fantasy books, you know. I was kind of just like, I don't know, just like, oh, this is gonna be so complex, this is gonna take so much time, and like I'm speeding through it, like audiobook wise and like reading wise. So I want to have this done by, honestly I think I can have it done by Sunday, but I'm not like rushing or anything. I want it done by this weekend, and I don't really care when I get this done. Like, this is kind of like a non-factor. Like I said, these are fun and I love reading them, and I can finish this in one day. Like, I know, like I only have like 200 pages left. I know I can finish this in one sitting, but I really want to have the blade itself done by this weekend. And I think I'm like, even though I've read this, I think I'm intimidated by it. Does this make sense? Like, I don't know, like, not that I'm intimidated by it, but it's like, oh, it's so complex. It's such a like smart girl fantasy. And I think one of my issues with being a fantasy reader is like, when you're a woman, people always are like, oh, fantasy is so hard to read, like, you know. And so there's this like stigma of being smart enough to read fantasy, and I actually don't think that fantasy is that hard to comprehend. Like, it's not that hard to understand, and there's not that much that you need to wrap your brain around. But because it has like that stigma around it, even though I think I'm well read in fantasy, I still suffer from that stigma often. Like, I'll still be like, oh, like I'm not smart enough to read it. Not that I don't think I'm smart enough to read it, because I definitely, do think that I am. I did struggle with this for a long time. Like, I didn't think that of myself as like a pretty smart person, because growing up in school, I didn't do good in school, and then in high school I didn't go to school. Like, I always tell people I graduated by the grace of God. I'm not even a religious person. I graduated by the grace of God because I was so depressed that I was never going to school. And so, like, me going to college was to prove something to myself, that like I am a smart person, and I really don't need to do that because I do think of myself as a smart person, but it's just like an insecurity that I had on my own. And so that being with reading fantasies, and fantasies being this whole like, oh, you have to be super smart to read fantasy, like rhetoric that people have, I still suffer from it sometimes. Like, I do know that I am a smart person, but sometimes I'm still like, oh, this is going to be so complex. Like, this is going to just take so much brain power. And oftentimes they don't. Also, I watched a bunch of Joy Abercrombie like interviews. Like, I was obsessed with like author interviews in January, and I watched a bunch of fantasy author like interviews. Like, I also watched the Malazan author, and that's how like I know that's what got me fascinated in Malazan, because the writer was an anthropologist, and so he bases the book in like a lot of anthropology ideologies. Even though the book itself is not an anthropology type of book, he bases a lot of the things that happens in it, and I'm very fascinated to like read that. And like, I think that Joe Abercrombie is a very fascinating person, like the way that his mind works. He's very funny, and he literally, and like, I've read this before, this book is funny, the characters are funny. Logan Nine Fingers, I'm obsessed with him. Like, that's my man almost, like damn near, you know? So it's like, I read this book before. I know that it won't take that much. Does this make sense? Like, I feel like I'm contradicting myself, but I really hope that it's making sense, which is another thing I have to get out of. I have to get out of being like, oh, I'm not making sense, because I know what I'm talking about. So I know that the people know what I'm talking about as well, but whatever. This is already going to be so much to edit. But yeah, those are my goals. I do want to read more of The Blade itself. Today is Saturday, which means it is the final day of the vlog. I got me a matcha. I've decided that this is my last matcha I am going to buy, and I'm going to have to make my own from now on. What I'm thinking is, my friend Shayla recommended the Khalifa matcha that's already like pre-made, and I want to make my own strawberry cold foam, so I'm just going to do that. And then maybe once I get home, like, I can make my own matcha like from scratch. But also, I don't feel like doing all of that. Like, I'm sorry, I drink matcha for the taste, not for the health benefits, as we can see, or else I wouldn't be getting it from Dunkin' Donuts. Today I got a frozen matcha, and I really like this one because when I put ice in it, once the ice melts, it's done for. Like, and I'm not the kind of person who can like drink all of my drink in like one sitting. Like, it takes me all day. Hello, I'm literally recording a clip for my vlog.
Oh. My bad.
You're good. I'm just gonna mute myself for like 2 more seconds.
Okay.
End up reading like a few more chapters, I think like 4 more chapters of Royal Assassin. I didn't read anything else because literally last night, like, I had my audiobook going, I was crocheting, and like, I was really good. And then I decided to start my project over because I just didn't like how I was looking, and I got pretty far in my project, but I'm like, it's a casual thing, like, it's whatever. So I started over. My sister came in, she was like, can you help me take down my hair? So that took like an hour and 30 minutes. And then Mika called me last night before bed, so I was just in my big sister mode last night. Like, I had to put the books down, so I didn't get as much read as I wanted to, but that's okay. Unfortunately, today I'm probably gonna spend most of my time editing, and then I do have homework to start, and maybe this will help me like be less chronically online today. Today I did really good, to be honest, so today not so much. Yeah, so I'm gonna edit this video, I'm gonna do my homework, and then I am gonna read Sunday I will be reading these 3 books. Okay, yeah, that is it for this vlog. I hope that you liked it. I really loved editing this, like, so far from what I've edited. I really like this vlog so far. So I really liked being vulnerable, and also like the fact that I'm in a reading slump, while being vulnerable with that. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.